Hiya, welcome. It's the Q&A. I've been looking forward to doing this since I announced it earlier in the week, and I must thank everybody who submitted questions. They're all really appreciated. I'm going to answer everyone. I hope I've not forgotten or missed anything. Before I start, the big giveaway that I'm planning, and it is a big one, I'm really excited about it. It's coming along nicely. Details will be announced in a video of how to enter very soon. I can't stress enough how important it is to share my channel and get as many people subscribing as possible so I can get to that magic 250, baby. Woo! Alright, on with the Q&A. So I've had numerous questions and I'm just going to look at my iPad and read the first one, which is from Project Pops. Thank you, Project Pops. Here's my question. What inspired you to start making a YouTube channel? Ah, wow. The honest answer is, I don't know. The thing is, my YouTube channel is about 10 years old now. And if my memory serves, I think I originally decided to put some videos up on YouTube when I was sort of playing around with Windows Movie Maker on an old laptop that I had, 10, 11 years ago. And just thought, oh, I've made some videos. Really basic stuff, photos to music kind of thing. And I just put them up and that was a YouTube channel. Did we even call them channels then? I don't know. Didn't look at subscriber numbers or think about quality or anything. I just like fiddling around with video. And I noticed my channel really started to grow more in the last year or so when I started doing more YouTube poops, YTPs, and I won't go into what they are for those who don't know. There is a Wikipedia article. And probably the best thing to do actually is just to look up some YTPs on YouTube. Preferably mine, although mine aren't brilliant. I just do them because I like other people's and I just like to mess around with video. So that helped me get a few more subscribers, and I guess really I've managed to get over this 200 mark since I've been doing more content about Funko. But yeah, my original inspiration for starting a YouTube channel, from what I can remember, it was just, oh, I've mucked around on Windows Movie Maker, let me put it up on the internet. That was it. But thank you for that, Project Pops. Next question is from the Red-Headed Funko. She wants to ask, if I was given £1,000 to spend on Pops, would I get lots of small ones or one big one, and what would they be? £1,000, wow. If I could only spend it on Pops, wow, that's a hell of a lot of money to spend on Pops for me. Because as you know, I'm not a massive collector. I could be, given the finances and the space issue. If those two weren't a factor, then yes. But £1,000, I can only spend it on Pops. That Beatles set, the Yellow Submarine one, I looked on Stashpedia yesterday and their valuation is 264 or something like that, £264. It's a lot of money. I mean, that's like a quarter of that £1,000 already. I bet that goes for more. In fact, I've never seen it on eBay. I've never looked for it actually. It's probably come on at some point. So I'd get that. Or I'd get the separate ones, John, Paul, George and Ringo, and possibly the other things, the Blue Meanie from the Yellow Submarine movie as well. And I'd still have lots of money left over, so I think then I would want to get the entire Breaking Bad collection, as they're all vaulted now. I say the entire, I don't tend to get duplicates of characters. So if I got one Jesse Pinkman, I wouldn't necessarily want a different one. I'd probably want the rarest, whatever that one is. I'd possibly make an exception with Heisenberg, because there's like Walter White and then Heisenberg, even though it's the same guy, he looks kind of different. So I'd possibly get a Walter White and a Heisenberg, but basically I'd want every character from Breaking Bad, and I think I'd still have some money left. So what would I get with the rest of them? I don't know how much that total Breaking Bad collection would be. Maybe 250, so I've still got £500 left. It's taken me ages to spend this £1,000. I'm sorry, Red-Headed Funko. I'd get the Sex Pistols ones. They brought out, I don't know when they brought these out, a while ago I think. Johnny Rotten, Sid Vicious and Steve Jones. I don't know why they haven't brought out Paul Cook, but I do like the Sex Pistols. I wouldn't say I'm a massive fan, but I do like their music. And I think that'd be a really cool set, and they look to be bloody expensive as well. So I think once I've bought those three, that takes me very close to the 1,000 mark. So I think the rest of them, if I had any money left and I had to spend it on Pops, I think I'd just get some that are on my wish list at the moment. The Parks and Rec set, You know, all the ones that aren't too pricey and are fairly easy to get. Right, next question is from Funko UK Guy. I know you love mini discs in your music. If you can turn two artists or bands into Funko Pops, which ones would you choose? Great question, thank you. First band, first artists that I'd turn into Funko Pops, simply because I think they'd sell really well and they'd look brilliant, and they are one of my favourite bands, is Rammstein. They're a German industrial metal band. One of my favourite bands, love them, big fan. And they're kind of known for their really elaborate stage shows and all the pyro and the really unusual costumes, and I think there's so much scope for Rammstein Pops. That'd be a great set, even if it's just a couple of them, because there's 6 members of the band, but just 1 or 2, and I think those would sell well. And I was racking my brains for the second band or second artist for ages, because my favourite band's New Order, but visually there's not a lot to them. They don't have a sort of certain style. Their style is more about the actual music and their record sleeves rather than how the band members look. So I couldn't really pick them. But who I have picked is the Spice Girls. And I've said it in mini-disc videos that I've made that Spice Girls are a bit of a dirty pleasure? A guilty pleasure. Yeah, probably a dirty one as well. I've got their 3 albums all on mini-disc. I don't think I'd have them if they weren't out on MD. But the thing is, if you think back to the Spice Girls when they first started out and kind of their heyday, 96 to 98, just an iconic look, and they would make some great looking pops. And with them reforming, with Victoria not being there, it'd be a good time to as well. In fact, I saw a photo of some mock-ups of Spice Girls pops. It was more like an illustration, but it was very good. I'd choose Rammstein and Spice Girls pops to be made. Next question from Crazy Stone Gamer. Hi Crazy Stone Gamer, big supporter of my channel. I appreciate you watching my videos, and I certainly appreciate this question. Actually, it's 2 questions. Have you ever been to a live wrestling event? Also curious, what is my most cherished pop? I'll answer the second one first because I can answer that really quick. My favourite pop and most cherished is my Hollywood Hogan, and I did a video on that one not very long ago, so please check that out if you've not seen it already. Have I been to live wrestling? Yes, I have, yeah. First wrestling show I ever went to was WCW World Championship Wrestling when they came to Birmingham, England in March 2000, I think it was. WCW was a company in America. Its home base was really dying on its arse by that point. But it was a well-attended event, and I'll always remember the main event. It was Ric Flair versus Kurt Hennig, also known as Mr. Perfect. 2 of my all-time favourite wrestlers in the main event, and it was my first show. It was great. Other shows I've been to, I saw Ring of Honor wrestling in Liverpool, England, a couple of times in 2005-2006 time. They were great shows. Managed to see people like Bryan Danielson, who's now known as Daniel Bryan, the current WWE champion. Samoa Joe was there. Nigel McGuinness, who's now a WWE commentator. I went to my first WWE show, I think that was 2008 or 2009, 2008 I think, in Nottingham. All these are in England, by the way. And I went there the following year for another house show. I've never been to a televised event. Oh, actually, the Ring of Honor shows that I went to, they were actually recorded for DVD, and they were fantastic shows. But a couple of WWE house shows in the late noughties, they were alright. It was a day out, but certainly at that point in WWE, nothing much happened at house shows. The last sort of big wrestling show I've been to was NXT at Nottingham, and I went there in December 2015. That was a really good show, so it was just a house show. They're kind of the bigger shows I've been to. I've also been to a couple of local, independent kind of things. I've also done some filming and some DVD production for some local wrestling as well, which I enjoyed doing because I like video editing and production and things like that. So thank you, Crazy Stone Gamer. Next question is from Deliver. If I could have any WWE pop, which would I like to have now? If you mean one that's out or one that isn't out but I'd like them to make, the one that's out that I want is Rey Mysterio, and I know there's 3 of them and I'd like any of them, but I've put a picture up of the cheapest, and even that's still expensive. Rey Mysterio would fit in my WCW themed collection, and it'd be great to get him at a price that wasn't just way up there. As for the WWE pop that I'd like, which hasn't been made yet, which hasn't come out, and I do go into more detail in this in my WCW top 5 wish list, is Kevin Nash. He's number 1 in that, so I guess out of all the wrestlers, the WWE superstars, I'd like a pop made of, because he was number 1 in that wish list. I'll say him for this one. He's not my favourite WCW guy, or even WWE guy. It's just because I've got Hollywood Hogan and Scott Hall, I really want that NWO trio to be completed. It's more an OCD thing than anything. Thank you, Deliver, for that great question. Well, I've got 2 questions from Funkorama UK. Bit random is question 1. What was my favourite school dinner? You know what? My favourite school dinner was chicken burger, chips and beans at secondary school. I don't know, I used to have that most days. Don't know what was so good about their chicken burgers, but I don't think you get anything like that in school now. My eldest daughter is at secondary, and they only serve chips on a Friday. So. Yeah, that was my favourite school dinner. And I did enjoy school dinners at secondary school. Hated them at primary school, so I took sandwiches. But secondary school, they were so much better. Funkorama UK's second question. What 1980s movie is my favourite? 1980s specifically, I think probably my favourite 80s movie is National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. And I did have to double check that this was definitely an 80s film. But yeah, 1989 was its release apparently, so just made it. And it's certainly my favourite Christmas film. It edges out Home Alone in that respect. I watched Home Alone last night, funnily enough. National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation is so funny, and just the right time of year to start watching something like that. Although, to be honest, I could watch that any time of year. Chevy Chase is just absolutely phenomenal in it. It's just everything that you want from a comedy film, and it's a Christmas film as well. All the National Lampoon Vacation films I like, actually, but Christmas Vacation's the best one of those 4. There was 4, weren't there, originally? So that's my favourite 1980s film, Christmas Vacation. Next question. Oh, this is 2 questions, actually, from Captain Sexy Pants. Thank you, Captain. Who is your favourite WCW wrestler? I think from all the wrestlers who I'd mainly associate with World Championship Wrestling above WWE, even though the vast majority have worked for both companies, I would say Ric Flair, the Nature Boy. Woo! Sorry, legend doesn't really do the man justice, does it? You know, 16-time world champion. Actually, it's more, but there's some reigns that are disputed, and it's complicated. I'm not going to go into it. 2-time WWE Hall of Famer. He got inducted on his own in 2008, and then with the Horsemen in, I think that was 2011, I believe. In his prime, the greatest heel, kind of the original cool heel as well, you know, the guy who, he was a complete jerk, really arrogant, a bastard really, but you kind of liked him because he was funny and he was stylish, you know, and he got the girls and he was wealthy, so just the consummate professional wrestler really, and certainly my favourite WCW guy, and really in my top 3 favourite wrestlers of all time. Another question from Captain Sexy Pants is, what is your favourite Captain Sexy Pants video? I don't know if he wanted me to answer this, but I'm going to answer it. It's this one.
Here it is. The Young Bucks. Super kick! Matt and Nick Massey, otherwise known as Matt and Nick Jackson.
Yeah, Captain, my favourite video of yours, and I've watched quite a few of yours since I've been subscribing to you, you've got a great channel, is the Young Bucks video. I really want that set, actually. It's tempting me. Well done, Captain. Great video that was. That's my favourite video of yours, but I like all your videos, mate, so keep up the great work. Loving it, loving it. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Next question is from Lady Dazed. Do you collect anything else besides Funko Pops? And all-time favourite movie? Great couple of questions there. Do I collect anything else besides Pops? Yes, mini discs is a big collection of mine. I've done 3 mini disc videos now, just updating people about my collection. It was a music format that was sold in the 90s. It didn't really gain a lot of traction. But if you want to know more information, there's some great videos here on YouTube, and my collection, I kind of talk a little bit about mini disc as well. I also collect CDs, particularly from my favourite bands like New Order, Pet Shop Boys, Depeche Mode, The Beatles, Rammstein, Enya I like, Oasis. I'm into all sorts really. CDs I still get. I know CDs aren't, you know, some people think they're kind of boring now, CDs, and vinyl's made a comeback. I would like to collect vinyl, but I've not got the room for all the equipment. I also collect DVDs and Blu-rays, not to a massive extent anymore. I used to, kind of before video streaming like Netflix and Prime Video, etc. took off. These days I tend to limit myself with DVDs and Blu-rays and just get ones that I either really like or that I know aren't going to be available anytime on any of the various streaming platforms. It's quite ironic really, because I don't like music streaming. Apps like Spotify and Apple Music, I believe in like having a physical format, but for like TV and film, I'm sort of getting towards the other way. I like having a physical format for a TV series or a film that I like, but I've got nothing against streaming or owning a digital copy. And Lady Days also asks, what is my all-time favourite movie? Well, as much as I like Christmas Vacation, it is not my all-time favourite. My all-time favourite film is one that came out in 2002, 24-Hour Party People. It's a comedy biopic which documents the mostly true but embellished story of Factory Records. Factory Records, for those who don't know, and I've got a few factory related stickers behind me. Factory Records was a Manchester record label which had on its roster Joy Division, New Order, Happy Mondays. They were the sort of three big acts of Factory's lifespan. And the film, it stars Steve Coogan, who most people will be familiar with as Alan Partridge. He played Tony Wilson. There's some other big names in it. Lenny James from The Walking Dead, he's in it. Paddy Considine's in it. And it's just so funny. And it's about exactly what I'm into as well. It's a funny film. There's a sad bit in it. I won't start spoiling it. But it's a brilliant film. It's one of the very few films I can watch repeatedly, like multiple times a year. So I'm more into TV than film, but 24-Hour Party People, I love it so much. I don't think that'll ever get knocked off the top spot as my favourite film. And I believe this is the last question that I've got for today. It's from Cheap and Nerdy. Thank you, Cheap and Nerdy. Where are you located? Probably should have started with this one, but I'll end with it. I live in Chesterfield, which is a town in the East Midlands in England. I was born here and I've lived here on and off all my life, but I've lived in other places. I lived in a town called Mansfield for a year. That's kind of the next biggest town on. That was in the late 90s. I lived briefly in New Jersey in the United States in 2004. I also lived in Ireland, Wexford for a year, 2012, 2013. And I'm back in Chesterfield, been back since 2013. And this is where I'm kind of born and raised, and this is where I am. And I've got no intentions of moving again. Yet. Never say never. So that was it for the Q&A. Some great questions there. Massive thanks to everybody who submitted a question. And massive thanks to everybody for watching as well. Thank you to all my subscribers. Those who are watching this and have maybe never watched any of my content before, please subscribe, check out my other videos, especially as we've got a big Funko giveaway coming up near to when I reach the 250 subscriber milestone. You've got to be a subscriber to be in it. I'll be back with some more Funko videos very soon. Please follow me on the usual social media links, which are down there in the description, Stashpedia as well. And I will see you all in a future video. Thank you very much. Goodbye and see ya!